Ever wonder what happens when comic book creators try too hard to be cool, or when good intentions pave the road to, well, questionable character design? The 1970s were a wild time for DC Comics. They were desperately trying to shed their squeaky clean image and connect with a changing world. While some experiments landed, others didn't. Let's revisit 5 DC characters from that era that haven't exactly stood the test of time. DC wanted to tackle big themes: politics, youth, social change, but often they ended up with tone-deaf attempts at hipness. It was a creative identity crisis, balancing legacy heroes with a demand for grounded stories. Let's dive into some of the results. First up, the Outsider. And the Outsider was similar Hunter to pay Mist and Capital. This strange storyline began in the 60s, but lingered into the 70s. And that Batman's pro bottom, Alfred Pennyworth, Batman's loyal butler, was resurrected as a pale, mutated villain with telekinetic powers. It's a jarring tonal shift. Thankfully, DC retconned it, bringing Alfred back to his proper role. But it's a reminder of how experimental and misguided things could get. Next, we have Lady Cop, Liza Warner. She debuted in 1975, driven by a simple origin, witnessing a murder and memorizing the killer's shoes. And because the problem isn't the concept, it's the execution. You know, to say she's portrayed as a caricature, a reflection of outdated stereotypes. Her stories lean heavily on her gender, objectifying her or reducing her to woman-specific issues. And she feels less like a character and more like a vehicle for shallow morality tales. And then there's the Tin-Eyed Man. And this villain debuted in 1970 with a truly bizarre power. Blinded in an explosion, doctors connected his optic nerves to his fingertips. He could see through them. Naturally, he became a vengeful criminal. The cringiest part. The comics tried to sell him as a genuine threat. Batman, the world's greatest detective, was challenged by a guy vulnerable to mittens. Unsurprisingly, he was killed off during Crisis on Infinite Earths. Let's talk about Brother Power the Geek. As the geek final world, our son, you did confuse. And created in the late 60s, this lightning-struck mannequin became a hippie messiah. He roamed America preaching freedom and peace. DC was clearly trying to tap into the counterculture, but it felt forced as because they asked what was cool and then tried to create a character around it. And the the series lasted only 2 issues. Finally, we have Prez Rickard, the first team president. And so, debuting in 1973, Prez was DC's attempt to connect with youthful energy. He tackled political corruption and werewolves to self-corruption in general. The series tried to be topical, but the dialogue is riddled with cringe-worthy attempts to sound hip. It felt patronizing rather than progressive. The tone was all over the place. So there you have it. 5 DC characters that haven't aged well. Complaints, consistence. When so it just goes to show, like, sometimes the most ambitious experiments don't quite land because, and hey, at least they gave us something to talk about, right? I mean, a mannequin messiah. Come on, that's gold. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you next time.